he never wanted to be a hero. Frank Castle was content to be a soldier, a father, maybe even just a man. But when the superhuman crossfire wiped out his family in Central Park, something irreparable broke. There was no going back for Frank, not to peace, not to forgiveness, and certainly not to the system that birthed the carnage. It started with the X-Men. They were fighting an alien threat, something so big it pulled in every superhero on the East Coast. In the chaos, a freak laser blast missed its target and found his wife, his son, and his daughter. The superheroes offered apologies. They told Castle it was a tragic accident. Collateral damage, they said. But for Frank, there were only two kinds of people left in the world: those who killed his family and everyone else. He knew the ordinary justice system was a joke. So when Shell finally let him out of custody, and the lawyer in the expensive suit suggested he move on, Frank started planning. At night, the city pulsed with disastrous heroics. Collateral damage played out in slow motion above the rooftops. Down below, Castle moved silently, collecting weapons and names. The first name on his list was Charles Xavier, the professor. Xavier embodied every problem: the hubris, secrecy, the belief that power made one wise. With the help of an anti-mutant militia, equally vengeful, equally broken, Frank waited. And when the X-Men returned, battered and proud, Frank struck. Cerebro exploded. The mutant school burned. The X-Men fell, one by one, at his hands or by his design. There was no last-minute rescue, no plot twist, okay? Only precision, extraction, and the cold detachment of a soldier on a private war.
Get you? He escalated.
The Avengers got their warning next. And still, they didn't take him seriously. Iron Man underestimated him. So did Captain America, who tried to reason with him, maybe even save him from himself. But Frank had mapped every contingency. He lured them, splitting up their ranks and exploiting their strengths as weaknesses. The Baxter Building dissolved in fire as the Fantastic Four fell, too slow to realize the rules had changed. Spider-Man was among the last, quick but not quick enough. Frank made it personal. He didn't just beat them, he dismantled the mythology. The world watched in horror as its protectors were wiped away. To the authorities and the sinister forces lurking in the shadows, the Punisher was now the world's most dangerous threat. But he didn't do it alone. The anti-superhuman coalition, made up of those who'd suffered at the margins, handed him every tool he needed. They gave him resources, information, access. Sometimes they just got out of the way. One after another, the icons of the Marvel Universe fell, some by bullet, others by betrayal or clever traps. Cosmic beings watched and did nothing. Maybe they thought themselves above it all. Maybe they were afraid of the contagion Frank represented, the idea that the age of heroes could truly end. To the last, the supervillains didn't fare any better. Castle made no distinction. Doom, Magneto, the Red Skull had their hands in chaos, all bore the guilt. Frank was merciless. If you wore a mask, you'd have to answer for it. By the time the dust settled, Castle had done what he set out to do. He had purged the world of its superhumans. The cities were quiet, almost funereal. No villains plotted in the dark. No heroes soared above the clouds. The great towers stood empty, their logos shrouded in ashes. Did the world become safer? Maybe for an hour, maybe for a month. But the truth is, without superheroes, ordinary people still hurt each other. Only now there was no one left to step between the innocent and the wicked. Except Frank Castle, already spent, already hollowed out by his quest, he hunted the last person on his list, himself. When he finally found the will to face his own reflection, Castle made his peace beneath the empty sky. There were no reporters, no applause, no witnesses at all. Just one man, broken by loss, who had destroyed everything the world had called heroic. No one built a statue to the Punisher. No one told stories of his crusade. All that was left were faint scars and a city that had forgotten how to hope. The Marvel Universe ended not with a bang, but with a soldier's silence. Silence built on rage, regret, and the cost of human vengeance.